Good evening, although it's morning. The topic for today, and it's going to be a kind of a ramble and rant, is traditional job versus reselling. And is it worth it? Is reselling worth it? Is it really worth it? Hell yeah. In my opinion, it is. You don't have to deal with all the garbage and BS that you have with a traditional job. It far outweighs the politics that go along with your traditional corporate job. The only problem with reselling is you have to build it up. You have to get a reputation. You have to get people to trust you. You have to have good feedback no matter what platform you're on. People have to know that you're trustworthy, that you're going to respond, that you're going to, make good if something turns sour, like it did with me just the other day with a USPS package delivery that, disappeared into the twilight zone. I had everything but Rod Serling there. It's definitely worth it because I worked in big companies and small companies since 1990, I guess, late 80s, early 90s, big and small. Went through, and I was low level. I was like desktop support, knock operator, computer operations, things of that nature. I was never anything like a DBA. I can understand if you're a DBA, when you get your balls busted, okay, but you're making a bucket load of money. You're making truckloads of money. So if you get woken up in the middle of the night by some operator who's going to tell you about an alert and some database that didn't get refreshed or whatever it is, well, I don't have too much sympathy because you're making a ton of money. But money's not everything. Sometimes sanity should prevail. Sometimes you should have a life. Sometimes you should not have holes in your stomach that are as big as this because of all the worrying you've got to do, and you can't even enjoy your life because you're too busy being super stressed out. So you'll get stress in reselling too, but nowhere near the way you do in corporate America. I mean, it's a lot of politically correct BS. Don't say this to that one. Don't say that to this one. This one's a dick. This one's not. This one's okay. You can deal with that. You can say this to this one, but that to that one. And round and round we go. We've all been there. Every damn company is pretty much the same damn company when you think about it. The politics that go into it, what you can say and what you can't say. Because nowadays we know, even in straight life, back in the 70s and before, you could say Merry Christmas and people wouldn't get upset, Now, I'm not a Christian. Back in the day, we said Merry Christmas, and they said Merry Christmas back. And if they weren't Christian, they said, well, I don't observe, or maybe they said Happy Hanukkah or whatever. But they didn't get upset about it. Nowadays, everybody's looking for a reason to be upset. That's why this country is as crazy as it is right now, and especially with the election coming up. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to go back to the topic, which is reselling in corporate America. And the things that I had to deal with, are small potatoes compared to the things that a lot of higher ups, people making a lot of money had to deal with. But we all know how it is. You get in there, you go into the boardroom for a conference. I had this one guy who was a boss, and he would just talk forever. He's the nicest guy in the world, but maybe there's a few kernels that had something to do with work. And the rest of it was like, I went on my trip to Alaska there, and this and that, and the other thing. I took the dogs, to the park, and this and that. And just talk up Blue Street, and you were just waiting to get out of that damn room. When is he going to shut up? Was basically the prevailing thought. And finally, he would shut up. And everybody knew what it was like. It's like, don't say anything. And God forbid you coughed. Somebody getting sick over there. I had a call last week, man. I had to take Dayquil and NyQuil, and I had to go to the doctor and get a shot, and I think I need a workup, a blood workup, and this and that and the other thing. And he would go around about how he was so sick for another half hour, maybe even an hour, until finally he would wind down. You ever get to that point where you're waiting for them to wind down, and then they start ramping up again, and finally they do wind down, and it's like, okay, don't say anything at all. Don't even cough. And finally, you would get out of that room. I think this is, experience that many people can associate with. and it's all so much BS. If it was just the work, it would be one thing, but it's the power play crap that the bosses pull, and this one wants to be the head dog in charge or whatever. Whatever, I do not miss corporate America one bit, and I never will. I will keep working on my reselling. If I can do some part-time work for hire, which I'm trying to learn, DaVinci. Right now I use a very small package for the YouTube editing, which is a lot harder than you would think. Sometimes it takes you like a few hours to get these damn videos, and I don't even really make them very complex. You see these people with like green screens and all this other, I put like maybe title, maybe some dissolves there, transitions, maybe sometimes a few of the jump cuts. I don't do that too much, because I find it myself disconcerting, but I will cut out my which I'm famous for saying all the time, or my You're writing the damn things. I'm like, how many damn did I say in this one? So I try to train myself not to say, those things too much, because it's just a pain in the neck to have to, weed them out. But I just said one anyway right there. So yeah, I mean, if you want to build it up and stick with it, because a lot of people they jump ship because there's so many things. There's the things with eBay, making the changes, this is unfair, that's unfair. Really, I mean, I have issues with their support sometimes. You get 3 different representatives, you get 3 different answers, nothing's really standardized, so you don't know who to really believe. You try to CYA as best as you can. I mean, for myself, I always take the pictures. Sometimes I take videos if it's a very expensive item. Timestamps on the videos and or the pictures. I'll send emails to people with the pictures telling them, when it was actually dropped off, when it was sent out. I'm starting to get a little bit away from that because since it's been picking up, it takes more money to get more paper and all that, so I've kind of cut down on that a little bit, but I still do it. But it's your own business, it's your own LLC, if that's what you've got set up. That's what I have set up, and you control everything. It's just a matter of sticking to it. And how big, right now, I'm limited on space. I've been telling the wife is that once things kind of settle down economically for us, it will be good for us to get a bigger space. Even if I just had one room or a basement or something to put all the inventory into. And I track it on, all the boxes back there you see. Underneath all those coats, there's sheets with all the intersections and the box numbers where all the products are, and there's another rack in the other room. My poor son, he feels like he lives in a warehouse sometimes. He's a Spectrum kid, but he's a good kid, so he doesn't really understand why do I have racks in my room. But so that's another room where I can kind of take over half of his, because he's just a little guy. He doesn't need too much space. But it would be good and beneficial one day to have more space. And I think drop shipping is an option too. I'm a little wary of that, because if they screw up, then who gets blamed? We get blamed. So that's my thoughts on having your own business. Yeah, true. You have to do the taxes. You have to. Well, eBay gives you a 1099, so that's not too bad. It used to be I had to calculate it all manually, give it to my CPA, but now they give you the 1099, and it's not too bad. They've got that Corporate Transparency Act now that they're doing, that everybody has to fill out. Otherwise they threaten to fine you $500 a day or something like that. Every beginning of the year, I got it on my phone in January. Just fill it out again. Just look up Corporate Transparency Act if you're not aware of this. If you ever watch a guy by the name of Rockstar Flipper, he's the one who tipped me off to it. I didn't even know it existed. And thank God for him, because he's pretty much a wealth of information. Been doing this for a long time. I'm small potatoes. I'm not anyone who's making buku bucks off of this right now, but things are steadily going along, and I would like to just keep pushing at it, because it's something that I actually enjoy doing. I actually enjoy going out to the thrifts. The Goodwill's I'm kind of wondering if they're going to go down the tubes, because they're getting so greedy. There was a report not too long ago of a guy on the West Coast, the CEO of Goodwill, stole like $1 million something. It's like, yeah, and you're in the Goodwill. Well, our mission is to help you out, and the poor. It's supposed to be for the poor, for the people who don't have that much money. And of course, half of the people in there are resellers like me, but I don't feel too bad, because I try to give good prices on my store. So if they bought it from me, they would definitely pay less than they would pay on well, maybe not Amazon, but in a brick and mortar store. And brick and mortar is falling like dominoes. The next ones to go, I predict, probably going to be maybe eventually Macy's, maybe Best Buy. They can't compete. They can't compete with all the online stuff, because online, all you really have to have is a place to store. You don't have to have all the other facilities that go along with a brick and mortar. They take it out of the warehouse, they ship, and that's it. Obviously there's more to it than that, but online is going to be the thing. I will miss brick and mortar. They'll always be around to some extent. I would rather actually go into a store for myself, go into a store and actually handle the merchandise and see, rather than look at pictures. But this is where we are. This is the trend. This is where we're going, and that's about it. If you're thinking about it and you want to do retail, just be aware that it's a slow ramp up. I've been doing it for several years. I still have a long way to go, because in the beginning I just did it on and off, this and that, when I could. Wasn't really serious. Finally, and that's why, part of the reason why I make these videos too, is like to put links in there, and I can advertise sales or things that are for sale. And so that's kind of the ramble and rant for today. And hopefully maybe this inspires somebody. Like I said, I'm small myself. I'm not blowing up YouTube. I don't think it's ever going to happen. If I got a few more, right now I think I'm like 339 subscribers. I actually lost one, 338. I'm sorry, I lost one the other day, and I don't really know where those subscribers came from. Of course, for a long time I wasn't even really making anything on purpose. I was just doing demo videos to embed into my listings, and people were subscribing. Okay, well, if they're subscribing for that, then maybe they'll subscribe when you're doing it purposely. So that's about it. And right now I just picked up a Quirkle, which I'm going to post on eBay and probably mercari too, and some other stuff I've got back there, and just keep on trucking. So good luck to everybody who's just starting, and if you've been in it for a while, you know what it's like, and it's a living. So thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to watch it.